Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome to another episode of The Folder. Of course, I'm Ruben, as you all know. Thank you all for listening to my last episode called Your Dreams. Hopefully, you can make some of your dreams come true. So, thanks everybody for being here. I love being on here. Today, I want to talk about something that that can probably hit really hard in your life. If you've had this in your life, because sometimes we haven't. And what I want to talk to you today about is mentorship. There's a lot of different ways that people can get mentored, or there's a lot of different ways that you can mentor somebody. But I'm going to be mentioning some people that have been very important in my life, that have mentored me in different aspects and in different ways. It could be, some family, friends, uh, and people like that. So I just want you to kind of listen and we'll go from this, and hopefully you'll get something. It'll impact you, and let's just see what we got. But before I get started, I would like to give a shout out to all my faithful listeners. Of course, my best friend Lonnie Northmore out of Belton, Texas. Man, thank you so much for listening to me all the time. I appreciate the shares that you give to all your friends. It's awesome. It means a lot to me, and I'll be doing something special for you, buddy. So just stay tuned, and I will get with you offline. So I appreciate it, Mr. Lonnie Northmore out of Belton, Texas. And I also want to thank my friend Juan Manuel out there in Abilene that listens to me, and to everybody that listens over here. To my mom listens, my daughter, and just thank you for whoever else listens to it. But let's dive into this. All right, here we go. So mentorship, um, it's an amazing thing because it helps you learn a lot of things. It helps you teach a lot of things, and we have to know how to do this and how to put everything together to make it work. For one thing, I know that you know a lot of my uncles, they're mentors to me in their own different ways. Um, I know as far as like from my mom's side, you know, we're all in church and we grew up in church and things like that. And a lot of my uncles, like my uncle John, my uncle Wale, and my uncle Albert, they all taught me a lot about music, playing music and stuff. Because I used to play in the church and stuff like that, and they taught me a lot. And to each everything they taught me, and to each I respect that. But I grew up more with my uncle Albert. He's a pastor out there at New Jerusalem Church in Belton, Texas, and I grew up a lot with him. And without getting into a lot of details, and maybe it's for another episode. Let's just say that my childhood wasn't all that. Um, and he basically he took me under his wing, and he started showing me a lot about life, a lot about everything. He taught me um, he taught me what it was to be a man. He taught me how to use compassion. He taught me how to love. He taught me how to uh, be the best that I could be at everything. He would take time to sit down with me, to talk to me, to show me, to teach me. I mean, I would go over there like at night, sometimes really late at night, just to ask him one simple question, and it would turn into something else, like us talking, me asking more questions, him teaching, and a lot of it had to do with with the Bible, and a bunch of questions that I had. And of course he says, you have to read the Bible yourself, or you have to read yourself. Don't believe just what anybody tells you, but you have to learn how to do that yourself. But he took me, and not only did he teach me about the Bible and things, and how to do things in the church, how to be a leader at the church and things like that. He taught me how to do so many things, like, hey, you know what, as a man, you do this. As a man, you do that. As a man, you don't do this. As a man, you don't do that. And he showed me, and he took time to show me. And I will always be grateful to him, from the bottom of my heart. And it makes me tear up when I talk about him, because he took time for this little kid. I was like maybe 7 years old when he started kind of talking to me and things like that. That he took time to uh, to show me all these things, to see how I was doing, to make sure that I was going on the right path, and not to go on the path of, where a lot of people, they head off, like, where even before you're 20 years old, you could be dead, whether it be, you know you're doing something stupid, you take something stupid, you're hanging around, the wrong crowd. But he took that time to show me things, and for that I will be forever grateful to him. you know and I mean, there's no way I can repay him for what he has done, and what he still does. He calls me, he texts me, hey, how you doing? you know I go stop at his house sometimes, and we just sit there and we talk and everything. And he's not judgmental on me, he's not anything. All he does is he just sits there and he helps me, just like he did when I was a little boy. The same way he does it now. He shows me, he mentors me. He's like, hey, you know what, we need to do this, or hey, what's going on in your life? And he shows me, he teaches me. It's like he's concerned with me, and I love that about him, because not anybody can just do that. Not anybody, especially, especially if it's, I mean, you're like that with your kids, but you know and you're supposed to be like that with like your nieces and nephews. But it's like he took the time to do that, and he still takes that time, and there is no way that I can repay him for that. And it's awesome. It's awesome how he does that. I have a lot of love, and I have a lot of respect for him. And like I said one time, somebody like was saying some stuff about him. I'm like, you know what, I'm like, you talk about him like that, and you're gonna have to deal with me, because that's how much respect, and that's how much uh like like man, I love my uncle. So, man, thank you, Theo Albert, for what you have done, and I will forever hold that mentorship that you have special to my heart. And we'll see how it goes. I'm sure that God's got something good. um that was from my uncle Albert. So now, like, I got into the military and things like that, and I was I was like about 27 years old when I first enlisted in the, I got into the National Guard thinking I was just gonna go fill up sandbags and, do hurricane duties and pass out waters and stuff like that. But it didn't happen like that. It was a total like 180 from what I was thinking. Um, but I remember the first couple of times that I went to drill, I got assigned to Bravo Troop, first of the 124 Cab out of Waco, Texas. And I went in there, new, a little bit scared, a little bit kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. But I went in there, and this man walks out, and he's like, hey, come over here, let me talk to you. He goes, hey, my name is Sergeant First Class Jimenez, and I'm gonna be your platoon sergeant. and he sat there and he was talking to me for a little bit, and and man, Sergeant Man's a great guy, great guy, and he was talking to me a little bit, and I remember he said, I have the power to promote you and I have the power to demote you, and I told him, well, Sergeant, I don't plan on being at the bottom for long, and he tells me, we'll see about that, and I looked at him and I was like, I'm like, I don't. I'm like, man, I'm like, this is gonna be hard. So, of course, we ended up getting sent to Iraq and stuff like that, and that was like such an eye opener for everybody. Even for even you guys are active duty and reserve and things like that. They started sending the National Guard out there. After 9/11, to help alleviate some of the headaches that the active duty guys had. And we were there. We were there to help. We would do everything that they would do. So that common misconception that, oh, the National Guard doesn't do nothing. We were doing everything that active duty was doing. We were doing convoy security. We were doing area security. We were doing PSD. Of course, we'd have our fair share of hey, we're going to do tower. We're going to do gate guard and things like that, and we would do our rotations and things like that. But for the most part, we would be out there doing everything. We get blown up just like everybody else would. So it's not like, oh, you guys don't do nothing. No, yeah, we were in the mix too. So I can't stand when people say that, like, oh, you're just a National Guard. No, it's you're in the gosh darn military, and you're going to adhere to the standards of the military of Army. It doesn't matter what component you're in, whether you're active duty, whether you're reserve, or whether you're National Guard. You're part of the Army, and you're supposed to hold yourself to a certain standard, you know, and it needs to be like that. I know that's a side note. I'm going off the subject, but it just irks me when people say, "Oh, it's just nasty guy, or you nasty girls." I'm like, you what? If it wasn't for us, you'd be, there'd be a lot more stuff going on. You'd have more suicides. You'd have more more rotations in theater. But we came in, we alleviated it, knowing that we had our own jobs, and we have jobs, and we have life outside of the military. Not like active duty. That is your life. That is your job. We have other things, and yeah, we sacrificed a lot, and we went out there. But anyways, that's a different episode. I'm actually gonna write that down so we can talk about that another time. So we get in theater and stuff like that, and I want to learn. And like Sergeant Jimenez, Sergeant First Class Jimenez, he actually takes me and he actually lets me do a lot of things. I asked him if I could start going to NCO meetings or to like different meetings that they would have for like town hall meetings that they would have while we were in theater. And I had got my picked up my corporal over there, so they kind of started letting me go because I wanted to learn. I just wanted to learn all I could, because it's not that like I don't want to be at the bottom. It's just that I was so into it that I wanted to do the best that I could and be the best that I could be. So I would start going to these meetings with them, and I would ask questions over there. And at first it was real nerve wracking, and I was nervous because it was like these colonels and stuff that were sitting there, and there was other high ranking NCOs, and I would actually ask questions, and like, hey, you know what, you're wrong about this, and Sergeant Jimenez, he would give me that liberty to do that, and he let me. So I started seeing the way he would let me do it, and he would sit down and he would actually talk to me. It's like, hey, you know what, when you become a non-commissioned officer, this is what you got to do, and this is how the path you got to take, and you got to do all these things. And he always had his sidekick with him as Staff Sergeant Ortega. That was our Vietnam vet guy right there, and they were always together. And he would like give us a lot of things too. He would show us a lot. He would mentor us a lot, and like especially because he's really into like going to church, into the Bible and things like that, and he would encourage us a lot, and he would mentor us a lot in that area, because sometimes you just need that, especially when you're far away and you're in a place like that, you know and sometimes you don't have nothing else. You have to have that, you have to. But he would sit there with him, with Sergeant Jimenez, and they would start talking, and they would start just getting us young guys and or young soldiers, and talking to us about things. And it was really good because I learned so much from him. I learned a lot, and one thing that he told me, he goes, when you can become an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, he's like, you're gonna have to learn how to be hard, but you're gonna have to learn how to be fair. And I was like, and I took that, and I took his leadership style, and I started forming that on at that time because I didn't know. So thank you, Sergeant Jimenez. He became First Sergeant Jimenez, and thank you, Staff Sergeant Ortega, for taking the time to showing us and talking to us. I really appreciate it. And then in the mix of that, I met all these other guys. I met he was a staff sergeant Wooden, but he ended up becoming my platoon sergeant and my first sergeant. On my second deployment to Iraq. Man, he was really good on letting me know how the military could work for you, how to do all these things, how to counsel soldiers, how to talk to them, how to be there for them, how to problem solve, how to do all these things. And he showed me a lot on how to do things like that. He was very calm, very collective. He wasn't one of those yellers. He was very, very talkative, and knew how to sit down and talk to somebody and counsel them. And he showed me a lot of that. And First Sergeant Wooden, I appreciate it. I haven't heard from you in a while. I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you're still in the Austin area, but I sure would love to hear from you. But thank you so much for helping build some of my leadership. Because of your mentoring, and I really appreciate that. And of course, I had Sergeant First Class Bloomer. I was on the truck with him. I was a driver. He was a gunner, and he's the one that actually started getting me hooked on reading all these books on how to become a non-commissioned officer. I know a little times we would bump heads, but gosh darn it, Sergeant Bloomer was always on it. Like, hey, you have to learn this. Hey, let me show you this. And he would like take all these books, and people would like, oh, well, I don't know why he's got all this stuff, but I was like all into. I was reading all these books about non-commissioned officers and how to do this and how to do that. And he would quiz me, and he would grill me on that. And I started learning all these things because he wanted to show me, and he wanted to mentor me on how to become an NCO. What steps do I have to take to become an NCO? How to do this and how to do all these things. What to do, how to do a drilling ceremony, how to do this, how to talk, how to conduct yourself as a non-commissioned officer, man. So thank you, Sergeant First Class Bloomer, for for that mentorship that you gave me. Then I met, I had he was a E5. He was sergeant. He was just a sergeant, and it was Sergeant Hanson. So he got promoted to staff sergeant, and we were in the same truck. And it's like because of him, like some of the way I thought changed me. He was kind of rough, but man, but God, if a soldier needed something, he was right there to help out. And we were on the same truck, and I remember I used to be so passive and so non-confrontational because I didn't want to make nobody mad. I didn't want to talk bad to nobody. I didn't want to like voice my opinion. I didn't want to do anything because I just didn't like confrontation. So I would basically let people run all over me, and they'd be talking trash about me, and I would just take it. I would just take it. And I remember one time, we were just sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. Him and Sergeant Trevino from Sergeant Trevino was from Austin, Texas, and he was with us. He was a gunner or the gunner at that time. We were all sitting there, and I don't know why they just started talking trash about me. We were sitting in the middle of the desert at night, couldn't even see nothing in front of our face or nothing, and we were there still just sitting there, just talking straight trash to me about this, and that. And I was just there with my face down. And I remember Sergeant Hanson, he's like, you know what, Hernandez? He's like, if you don't start opening your mouth, people are going to run over you for the rest of your life. And I don't know, from that point, something in my mind snapped. And I was like, he's right. I can't be quiet. I have to say something. If I see something that's not right, or if I see something that's wrong, or if I have a different opinion, I need to start saying something. If somebody's talking bad to me, I need to say, hey, you know what? You better back up a little bit. And I started doing that. And, I didn't go off full blown, like just start having attitude or anything. No, I took his advice, and I would like, hey, you know what? Regulations say this, regulations say that. If somebody's like, oh, we're going to do that, I'm like, well, you can't do that because the regulations say this. And by that time I knew, he's like, you know what? I shouldn't even say nothing to you because now I created a monster. You don't know how to shut up. But I'm glad he did, because that changed me into the person I am today. That, you know what? It's fun to talk trash and everything, but you know what? When you talk trash and you really mean it, that's when I have a problem, and I'm gonna voice my opinion whether you like it or not. And I'm glad he did that. But other than that, he showed me a lot of things. He became my platoon sergeant when I was out there with Alpha Troop of the 112. Go Ghost Riders. And he was my platoon sergeant, and he let me do a lot. He showed me a lot of things. I was like his right hand man. When he wasn't there, I would take over the platoon and everything, and we just worked really good together. We had this good working relationship and everything, you know. And he became one of my good friends, and I can still talk trash to him right now, and we start laughing. So thank you, Sergeant Hanson, for what you did for me, man. Um, I had I met Sergeant Amadio there, Sergeant First Class Amadio there. That guy, I was like, man, this guy's got the biggest mouth out of everybody. Like he just runs around, he screams, he don't know how to shut up or nothing. But you know what? This guy knew his stuff and he knows it. And there was a lot of times on my deployments or even back home that I would call him. I was like, hey, I need some advice, because of this, and that. I don't know what to do. And you know what? He would take the time and he would show me and he would talk to me, and he would give me different options and different scenarios. That way I could make up my mind and know what I wanted to do. And there was a lot of times that I did that, and he would just show me a lot because he was really good at it, and he knew what he was doing. So yeah, I would pick his brain a lot. So thank you, Sergeant Mario, for helping me out. I really appreciate it. Then we got to uh, we got to Egypt, and my time's getting short here, but we got to Egypt, and I was put with Sergeant First Class Silcott, and believe it or not, we actually knew a lot of people. We had the same friends and everything, and we knew we knew a lot of the same people. So it was a good working relationship because he taught me another side of how to do things. He was a little bit harder, but he was still fair. But he was a little bit harder, and he believed in hey, you know what, you have to be a disciplined soldier. And I took everything that he was telling me and showing me, and I was only a corporal, and he was like showing me all these things. He would pull me aside and he was like, hey, you need to do it like this, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And you can't let soldiers do this, and you have to be the instant, you have to take charge, you have to be the one that they look up to, you have to do this. And he showed me a lot, and it was a great year. And then after that, we got deployed to Iraq again, and he was my platoon sergeant, and then he became a first sergeant, became a sergeant major. It was great, man, because he showed me a lot. He made me look at being an NCO in a different way. So man, I really appreciated Sergeant Silcott. Man, we've been through a lot, and he still remains one of my good friends, and I can call him anytime and get advice or anything that I want. In Egypt, I met Staff Sergeant Reyes. I didn't even know him. They just threw me in the mix with everybody, and he became one of the biggest mentors I had. Man, this guy could. I tell you what, this guy would run, and I would try to match him. And I remember in Egypt, I started. That's when I was like real healthy and stuff like that. I wasn't all busted up or anything. And I remember I started running 4 miles a day, and I was like, hey, and I was like felt big and bad one day, and I was like, hey, I just ran 4 miles, and he's like, well, I just ran 6, and I was like, oh man, he just shut me down quick. But he showed me a lot. He showed me, he gave me a lot of flexibility on how to use my leadership skills, because I became an E5 in Egypt, and he showed me all these things, and he gave me the tools that I needed to use to take control of the things, especially like in the operations and in the sites that we were at. They were supposed to be running, by staff sergeants and things like that. But even as a corporal, he was like, hey, you know what, you're doing a good job. And he would show me. He went out there. He showed me everything. He showed me how to talk to people. He showed me how to get in shape, how to run. He showed me a lot of things, and he's the one that helped really get me promoted out there in Egypt, and I really appreciate it. And man, I was like, I'll tell this story some other time. But man, I remember something bad happened while we were in Iraq because everybody was separated and they were going in their own units and stuff like that. But man, remember I heard about him, and man, I got into this funk, and I even told my squad leader, like, hey, you know what? I just heard this, so if I'm acting different, I just need to be by myself because this and this and that. But man, thank God that he's okay. He came out on top, and I miss talking to him, and hopefully one day, I can sit down with him and talk to him and tell him about how he mentored me in a lot of things. So thank you, Staff Sergeant Reyes. First Sergeant Martinez, he was out there with us in Egypt. Man, I couldn't stand this guy. Oh man, he got on my nerves, and I was like, man, this guy, he just like messing with us, and he's picking on us, and this and that. But at the end of all, you know what? He actually let us do. He let us perform our leadership skills. He was like, man, you guys got this. I know you guys got this and this and that. And he let us do it, man. First Sergeant Martinez, thank you so much. And I appreciate it. So out of all this, I've had some great leaderships, and I developed my own leadership style based on all these guys. Starting from my uncle all the way down to Staff Sergeant Reyes. And man, and it's good because I know how to operate. I know how to counsel. I know how to do this. I'm not saying that I'm the best, but I know how to do all these things because of these men. And I can't thank them enough for helping me and for showing me and being there with me to mentor me as I was coming up. From my uncle, from me being 7 years old, and from these great non-commissioned officers taking me under their wing when I didn't know anything, and turning me into the non-commissioned officer that I am today. To help to mentor soldiers, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I have been doing is mentoring soldiers. Yeah, we get promoted and stuff like that, but my main thing is like I need to mentor soldiers because they're the soldiers of the future. They're the ones that are going to be protecting us when we get all old and crusty, and I want to be sure that they know what they're doing and that we're in good hands with great leaders. So with that, thank you, gentlemen, and hopefully I'll see you soon. I'm gonna do my business plugs real quick. Running out of time, so we're gonna start with Tex American Floor Co. You can call Maurice at 254-226-1695. He'll do carpet, tile, luxury vinyl plank, backsplashes, and anything. He'll do the footwork. He'll do all this stuff for you. Give him a call, and you see how he's very educated, and he's very, very up to date on products and techniques and things like that. So give Maurice a call. You can also call my friend Patrick at Roll Away Junk if you have any kind of thing, any kind of remodeling you're doing, and you just have stuff all over the place and you don't know how to get rid of it, and you're like, I don't have time to go to the dump. Patrick will go over there and he will load everything on his trailer, and he will take it to the dump for you, and you won't have to lift a finger. So give Patrick a call, sit down and chat with him, and you'll see, man, how he's a great guy. So give Patrick a call at 254-500-8600. Now, if you're ever in the Abilene area and you want some good barbecue, look up Even Though Barbecue by Juan Manuel Perez. Man, he will get you going on some barbecue. He'll cater for you, and if you want something, I definitely recommend, asking him for the big Sarge. Get that, and it's gonna blow your mind how good that sandwich is. So if you want something done, you give him a call at 325-333-3292, or you can email him at mailman, MELMAN 63002 at Gmail for your catering needs. If you're in the Temple area and you want to get fit, you can go to Barbell County Fitness with my friend Jason. Man, like you go over there and he will get things done for you. He will get you fit. He's one-on-one. He gets personal with you. He's got all these options for you. He's got these great deals that he can do. He's got his own line of supplements. This guy is awesome. What I like about him is that he'll not only get your body physically fit, but he wants to get your soul physically fit too. So man, go out there, very Christian oriented. You're gonna love it, and just go out there and you can give him a call at 254-217-1304. Give Jason a call. You can follow RPG Outdoors. They make their own lines of artificial baits. You can get them in all flavors, all different kinds of sizes, whatever you want. You can order them, get some huge orders, get small orders. Follow them on Facebook, and you can see what kind of products they have and things like that. But one thing I like about them is that they actually go out there and they help veterans. They take them fishing. They do tournaments and everything to get these guys going. So follow RPG Outdoors. And now for our new business, you can call my friend Lewis at Dynaclean out in Temple, Texas at 254-771-3402. You can get him for all your carpet cleaning needs. Like he'll clean carpet, he'll clean tile, he'll clean wood. He'll do water mitigation if you have a flood or you need something. He'll do all that. He'll take control and start it from start to finish. and make sure that your house is back in order. He'll do fire and smoke restoration, and he'll do all these things. He'll clean upholstery. So give my friend Lewis out there at Dine and Clean a call at 254-771-3402. And with that, everybody, I want to thank you for joining me for this really great episode called Mentorship. I hope there's somebody in your life that you can look up to for mentorship. If you don't, man, give me a call. I'll ask questions. If you have anything that you need to ask from me, if you need advice or anything, you can reach me at thefolder.podcast76@gmail.com. Again, that's thefolder.podcast76@gmail.com. Thank you everybody for listening to. Have a great night. And remember, everybody, stay 80s and God bless.